Hi, Leah. Hi, I'm Alicia. Thanks for taking some time to go over this suicide safety plan with me. I know from your PHQ-9, your assessment, that there definitely are some depressive symptoms, and you've had feelings and thoughts of harming yourself and potentially ending your life in the past. I know it's not an ongoing thing right now, but I thought it would be helpful today if we could review a safety plan for if and when those feelings occur again for you. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
All right. So this is a safety plan based on the Stanley Brown model. It's something that we use nationally. Okay. So when we're thinking about this, I really want to come and think, first, where do you feel it in your body when you're feeling that you're feeling badly about yourself or the situation? Where do the feelings come in your body?
Well, when it usually starts in my throat. It'll feel like a heavy rock or something is plugging it. I can't really speak, trying to speak and stuff. Or it'll start from my stomach, and it's like a pit in my stomach.
Wow. All right. Do you, so your throat, your stomach, anywhere else?
Well, other than that, maybe my hands, they'll be cold. Like, I'll try to feel my arms, and I'll feel like I'm not even touching my own body.
So you feel a little disconnected from your own body.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say that's really, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but it's really good that you actually notice when you're starting to feel badly, because those are the signs that we want to work with, and that's when you want to kind of help yourself shift out of that fight, flight, or freeze mode where you're like, instead of spiraling down with those sensations. Okay, so you have to acknowledge it, but then you say, oh, this is what I'm doing because I'm feeling kind of not good, right? And then you can move right into what can you do for yourself, okay? And that comes to the next point. What are some strategies that you have done with your counselor or your therapist? I know you've mentioned them to me before. What helps you kind of move your mind away from that intensity in your throat, or that pit in your stomach, or feeling a little bit more in touch with your body than what you were saying? It's as if the hands and your body are disconnected.
I'll usually write down what I'm feeling in a notebook. Any book is fine, whatever I can find. Even if it's like a piece of paper, I'll write down how I'm feeling.
That's great.
I'll draw how I'm feeling because sometimes word cannot express how I'm feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'll just try to take deep breaths to see if I can calm myself before it gets any bad and escalates.
Okay. I love it that you have like go-tos already. So you must be doing this already, right?
Yes.
Okay. And how quickly can you feel that shift from like I'm about to spiral to, oh, it's okay. Your throat is starting to not feel as tight, or like your stomach that knot that just it relaxes a little bit, or that you're a little bit more connected to your body.
It usually takes a few seconds. It's not that quick. It's not instant.
Oh, absolutely not.
It always takes a few minutes until it feels like I'm calm and more cautious with my body.
And how do you know that you're feeling more calm?
When I can breathe better, when my touch with my hands are much composed, when the feeling in my throat suffocates, the suffocating feeling calms down.
Okay, great. So when, so you have, I love it that you have different strategies. I know that you're an artist, so I love it that you're using your strength and your power there. That I loved what you said, that sometimes words can't express it, but your drawing it really expresses how you feel. So for me, it's all about getting those feelings and thoughts and emotions out, right? And I call it the mind dump. And you can dump it with saying it, or writing it down, or drawing it. So that's a physical dump from what's going on in your mind. And breathing always works, right? Because we're already breathing. But what sometimes happens when we get into the moment of, right, you're And if you can, which breathing technique do you use?
I'll do just slow, big, deep breaths.
Okay.
Gotta and let it out.
Okay, great. And you know that the slower you let out on the exhale, right, that's what's going to swing you out of your fight or flight or freeze mode into a much calmer state. So getting you out of your sympathetic nervous system into a much calmer state, your parasympathetic nervous system. Great, okay. And do you use any other breathing techniques?
I don't think so. Well, other than my senses, I'll use my senses to my advantage. I'll see what I can smell. I'll see what I can hear. If I can hear a difference in voices, if the teacher's talking or if there's students talking in my class. I'll see if there's like a particular scent depending on the class. There's a chance I could smell my teacher's lunch in the classroom.
Oh my gosh, that, so that is great focus. That's what it is, right? You want to refocus your mind from what was kind of scaring you and kind of freaking you out, leading you to dark paths into something that is much more calming to you. And the fact that you can smell your teacher's lunch tells me you have a really good sense of smell. That's because you're focusing so well, okay? So I love that. Just keep doing it and have stuff. And I know that you have these coping skills because you were able to name it like that. And that's the only way we can use them, is that it's really at, a snap of our finger that we can name them. Okay, this is great. So you know what the warning signs are, some skills that you already practice on what you can do to shift yourself out of the scary feelings and the panic into a calmer state. What are 3 people or places that you can go to help you distract yourself out of that fight or flight or freeze feeling?
Well, somebody that's close to me, like my friend Emma, she's sweet. She'll help me calm down. She'll ask me if I need anything, if I maybe need water for my throat, if I need a place to go, if there's somewhere quiet we can go.
Okay.
Or I'll try to see if I can go to the hallway. The hallway is a great distraction, as there's students where they're not supposed to be, so I can get distracted by them.
Okay, and do you have a pass or something that you could go into the hallway? All right, I love that. So you flash the thing to the teacher?
A flash pass.
Okay, great.
In my school to help me.
Okay.
Either I can go to a counselor to help me and stuff.
Great.
Or I can go to somebody who is close to me, like a teacher. Or even if they're busy, I can just walk the halls, calm down, and distract myself, not in the classroom, or it's suffocating me.
Yep. I love it that you've mentioned a friend and your counselor or teacher, and then there was movement in here. So the connection piece is great, right? Sometimes we get carried away with our own thoughts, and we don't know that if we connected with somebody else, they could help also us shift out of this very lonely, scary place in our head. That is wonderful. And the thing I liked about the hallway is that you physically took yourself out of the place that was causing some distress, feelings that were not feeling good for you. So you actually physically moved yourself out of that environment. And the other thing is that you're actually physically moving. So movement will really help just move your body. And you'll probably start feeling your hands again. Movement, dance, by the way, and we've done this in the office before. Dance is one of the most effective ways to help relieve stress and anxiety in the moment. And so if you felt like it out in the hallway, you can dance to the music in your head, it's like shaking it all out, right? Yeah. And then, of course, in the old days, we always had phone numbers, but I'm thinking that you have these people right on your cell phone. So, okay, you can fill out their cell phone numbers, okay? All right, so now we also have people and a place that you can go to right in the immediate. And who can you ask help from? You know, like an adult figure that you might be able to ask. Let's say it's getting really, you haven't been able to get yourself out of it and you're going deeper into your darker place. Who would you reach out to for help?
Well, my first thought usually is my mom, as she's somebody that I trust personally. Usually when I'm in these feelings of thoughts, I feel like I go back to when I was like younger, and the thing that I want the most is to be with my mom and have her comfort me.
Alicia, that is really that's just really touching, and that talks about the strength of your relationship, the two of you.
Right.
That she really trusts you, and you are her steady, right?
Yeah.
So I want to recognize that wonderful bond that you guys have, because sometimes during teenage years we don't have the best of bonds. So whatever you're doing to keep that going and strengthening that, Alicia, I want to say keep doing it.
All right, thank you.
Because she's recognizing that you're her go-to person.
Yes.
That's pretty tremendous. It's not true in all situations.
Right.
So kudos to both of you. Now, mom might be working, and mom can't answer the phone right away. Who would be your next go-to person?
My next go-to person would probably be a teacher, an older teacher though.
Okay, and
that
you
I'm comfortable
have,
with.
so, and that's, the older teacher is pretty accessible at school?
Mm-hmm. And it's usually a female because I feel much more trusted with a female usually.
Okay. So you have the names of those people in your head. Give me a concrete, you don't have to give the actual name of your teacher, but who might it be, and you can fill out their phone number there too. Okay. Anyone else?
Other than that, I would say a guidance counselor or the help desk. There's a help desk at our school who works with I forgot what she is supposed to do, but she works with all their classes and other students and stuff. And
So she provides support? Okay, great. So you've named the people, and you know how to access them. So later you can fill out their numbers here. We don't have to do that together, okay? And then, the next step is really a professional. It can be me, your pediatrician, or your counselor. Who would be your professional person that you would contact? And
it'd be you.
oh, thank you.
Because you're so I trust you a lot. We've done so much during the years working on this and stuff.
Thanks. Okay, I'm really I feel very heartfelt that it's and yes, you can always reach out to me. Okay. You know the office number, and you can also go through when you call the office, there's an extension for when you need to reach someone right away. Now, in case I am not immediately available, who would be next on the list?
Probably my guidance counselor, as we're trying to set up something for me so we can get this figured out and have me calm down with this.
Okay. And your guidance counselor is pretty accessible as well. What about after school hours?
After school hours, I don't really know about that. I don't think they're accessible.
Right. So I just, let's think about that as a team, okay? You, mom, and me, okay? And the local, if you're feeling pretty desperate, call my office, and then we can discuss whether, we can get you in, or I can talk to you, or the emergency department is if we're worried that you're potentially going to harm yourself, or someone that you know, and, I would send you to our emergency department at the hospital here, okay?
Okay.
And then I want to remind you both that always 988, it is the national hotline for suicide crisis lifeline hotline, and you can either text or call 988, and you can chat it also, which is 988lifeline.org, and you will have all this to go home with, okay? And what I like about this doesn't have to be just suicide. Even if you're having a really stressful situation, they have counselors available right then and there, okay? So what will happen is they'll try to locate somebody who's local to us first, and if there isn't, then it goes into the pool of the national folks who are available. So this is not only for suicide, but any crisis. You can talk to someone, you can chat with someone, you can text and get a response, okay? So if your go-tos are not available, I want you to know that this is available. 988 is available 24/7. So, you have a bad situation and for some reason you can't reach any of these people. This is like kind of the next thing that I'd like you to imprint. Like, I can always call 988, chat 988, text 988, okay? I think I want to recognize you for your great work in helping put together this plan, because this is your plan and you had all the parts already, okay? So you knew what you were doing. You had the awareness to know where do you feel it when you're about to go into your a little bit of the feeling bad and that spiral in your brain. So the sensations in your body, and that's the time that you would bring in the coping strategies that you've learned with your therapist and that you already are doing. So I love it that you're doing the breathing, you're doing the 5 senses, and if you can write it out, you can write it out, or else you can draw. And then as we've talked, you also have distractions of connecting with people in your life, your friends, your counselors, your mom. I think kudos to that your mom is your go-to person, but then you have some other alternative adults who you can contact as well. And then further down the list, if all those people are not available, you can always call my office, as you had mentioned. You can also contact your guidance counselor. And then I want to remind you about the 988. If all those steps and all those people are not available, 988 is available 24/7. It is, we call it the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, and I want to emphasize the word crisis. It's not always just for people who are in danger of taking their life or thinking of suicide. It's crisis, anything that you feel like, oh, I am spiraling and I really need another human connection. You can call it, you can text it, and you can chat 988lifeline.org. And that's right here, and you are going to have this handout. The last thing I'd like to do with you, ladies, is to review how can we make your home a safer place. So how can we reduce or minimize the possibilities of things that you can harm yourself with in moments of desperation. So what are you thinking, Mom?
So I would remove any of the firearms that I have in my home for safety measures, and just locking up any dangerous objects.
Okay, that's great, Alicia. May I suggest that with the firearms, if you have them, I would definitely keep the gun and the bullets separate. So guns should be unloaded in a safe, and then the bullets should be in a separate place. The accessibility of them together, it makes it easier, right? If
Yes.
you're thank you for identifying that. I mean, it would be best if you could remove the firearms from your home, right? But if you can't, then at least make sure it's in a locked away safe, and that the bullets are separate from the gun. The gun should always be unloaded.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you were talking about what were the other
dangerous objects.
Okay.
So
And what are you
knives
thinking?
and scissors and razors.
Yeah.
Anything
That with a blade that you can
Yeah.
cut yourself with. So box openers are a favorite. I don't mean a favorite. I mean people will
Right.
use them. And can you think of other things?
Racers, old mechanical racers. People can always get like a pin or something to unscrew it and use the blade in those.
Oh, okay, all right. Then we'll blades in those.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that I also think of is medicines. All medicines, whether they're prescription or over the counter, they really should be locked up. And I'll give you a concrete example. Tylenol, which is acetaminophen, can actually be very dangerous in an overdose situation. You can harm your liver, you can go into a coma. So over-the-counter medications can be potentially very dangerous. So I can put that into if you were to lock up the meds, okay? And I know because you're my patients, you don't have cough syrup or over-the-counter cold syrups, but if you did, I'd like you to throw them away.
Okay.
And then if you had to have them, I'd lock them away with the other meds, okay? And then anything that you can turn into a rope, okay, that you could possibly form a noose around your neck. You can't take it all away because, electrical, wires, can be used. So we're not going to take away all of our things that are plugged, but
Right.
just be aware, right? And you know that talking about this isn't going to give ideas that might not have been there already
Okay.
when someone's desperate. So it's almost like if you talk about it, then we all know.
Mhm.
If you don't talk about it, you really don't know what the other person knows, okay? So I want to relieve you of any symptoms, any thoughts that maybe we're giving Leah ideas, okay? So I think it's the conversation is really important, so that we know, so we all know, all right? So we did medicines, we did ligatures, ties, scarves, belts. Those are all things that you can imagine could be turned into a noose. The firearms is really key, and thank you for sharing that. All right, can you think of anything else? Because you gave a contribution about that eraser.
I don't think so. Maybe heavy objects, like weights or something that can always be used as a weapon.
Okay, I didn't even think of that. Thank you. Right. And again, I know I said it before, but 988. You can call, text, or chat them, okay? We'll make several copies of this for you. You'll put it up in different places in the house. I am also going to recommend that you take a picture of this so that you have it on your phone. You could put in the notes section, several sections on your phone, so that, when you start feeling badly about yourself or the situation, if you need reminders on what the steps are, you have it right there. Okay. Do you have questions for me, Leah?
I don't think so. I think everything's been answered here.
Okay. And how about you?
Nope. Everything's great. I think this is a good plan.
Okay. Well, thank you. I give all the credit that you actually knew it, and we just wrote it out together.
Yeah.
Okay. You feeling like this is a good action plan for you?
Yeah, I just feel like all the burden has been put on the paper.
Okay. Great.